Even though it looked like the program recruits just anybody, it doesn't. It's selective, very selective. The people they bring in are a specific type, interpersonal manipulators. It only seems like everyone could be involved because these people are everywhere. That's the point. They blend in. They look normal. They already know how to push, pull, guilt, charm, and control without being obvious. The fact that it feel like anybody should tell you how common this personality really is, not how random the recruitment is. The handler recruits people with a complete absence of moral consciousness. When a handler can recruit children to be exploited and the parents are willingly to allow it, that tells you exactly what kind of people this system depends on, the criminal justice system. This isn't coincidence or desperation, it's alignment. Different goals, common interests. The handler and the perpetrator aren't different people, they're the same type. The only difference is access. One has resources, connections, and protection, the other doesn't. Give the perpetrator the same means and they become the handler. Strip the handler of those means and they're just another perpetrator. The mindset is identical, the power level is what changed. The handler and the perpetrator have a twisted relationship. They're the same in mindset but unequal in power. One have access and resources, the other doesn't, and that's how they lock each other in. Most of them don't get into relationships out of love. It's survival, a roof, stability, not ending up broke or on the street. And the ones who have access and means rarely go after someone on their level. They target people with less because it's easier. Easier to impress someone who never had anything. Easier to look powerful. Easier to create dependence. It's not connection, it's leverage. And once dependency is locked in, control comes natural. Back to the handler and the perpetrator having the twisted relationships because it is. They're the same in mindset but unequal in power. One have access and resources, the other doesn't. They fill in the gap for each other. On a personal level, a parental level, one provides direction and approval the other never had. On an intimate level, they share secrecy, validation, and dependence. On a trauma level, they bond over damage instead of healing it. So imagine looking at a stranger as a parental figure and at the same time seeing them sexually and are fucking each other at the same time because the handler and perpetrator are fucking. They're getting something from them. A lot of it is sexual favors, but in context, that's incestuous thinking. Even without blood relation, how you view someone that's taking care of you as a parent and a lover. And that's the environment the handler create with control. You can't tell me they wouldn't be cool with incest when they already practicing it in their own mind with their role play. All it takes is for one of them to place a hand on one of their thighs for them to get into it with each other because they already engaged the scenario in their own mind. They complete each other in every way they never had. Friend, parent, lover. It doesn't matter if the handler and perpetrator are man and man or woman and woman. Mentally, they're the same way. They say water seek its own level. See, what I notice is they partake in secret taboos in their own mind first before they are introduced to these practices with each other. That's their little foreplay. They love crossing boundaries. That's why, to me, when you place these individuals in a structured social engineering or role-playing environment, and you would notice that very little training is required for them because this is what they good at. You don't need to teach them manipulation. They already speak that language. All you're doing is removing restraints and giving permission and taking away their accountability. The role play becomes an outlet for traits they normally have to suppress, mainly being their perverted nature and sexual deviancy. Because they share the same trauma, they don't bond over healing, they bond over damage. A lot of their relationships run on chaos. They intentionally create problems for each other, blast it online for attention, break up, get back together, and keep disrespecting each other until someone finally snaps on react. That's why when you look on the news, you'll be seeing like the mother killing the boyfriend and the son, or the boyfriend killing the whole family, right? This is what they be doing, right? The conflict is the point. If there's no conflict, then they are bored and are questioning their existence. So to compensate for that, they distract themselves in gang stalking activities because the program is going to protect their fragile egos because the program still needs them. So they provide comfort and community. But in their relationship, it's like they rehearse their gang stalking behavior on each other first, on their partners, their families, the people that's closest to them. This is the only way they know how to relate. When a mindset like this dominates someone's life, it doesn't stay contained, it bleeds into personal relationships. What they practice externally becomes how they live internally. Another thing I noticed with handlers and perpetrators, whether they're just casual friends with benefits and relationships or married to other people, you can still see the power dynamic when they're together. Watch closely. One always leads, the other follows. It shows in their body language, timing, who speaks first, who adjusts, who waits. Control doesn't disappear just because the labels change. When they're around each other, the hierarchy is obvious if you're paying attention. What I notice is the program doesn't recruit real men, only gay, bisexual people. Men who have open preferences. This is why STDs are the way more prevalent now, because the program assign these women with gay men. It's a part of the depopulation agenda. Plus, they want to disrupt the kids' innocence. But when you out in public and you see the honeypot couple, the man will be following the women just like a bitch. Control is what drives them, not money, not fame, influence, pulling strings, making people react how they want. And they can't stop themselves. They cannot help themselves. The most common trait with these people are they have a strong need for power, relevancy, and validation. They have a low tolerance for uncertainty or rejection. What really hurts them is when you ignore them and don't pay them any mind because they put so much effort in being perceived a certain way. They are uncomfortable with the autonomy in others. They hate when you have your own mind. They hate when you're independent. They have a tendency to externalize blame. They know how to project their inner pain. People who rely on role play are not highly strategic or conscious thinkers. They are not emotionally regulated. This program functions like therapy for them, not healing but regulation. They manage themselves by controlling others. Without access or means, a lot of them will collapse mentally. These are emotionally fragile, compromised people. You have to understand that the system is using them. These handlers they preying on each other. So the system buffers them, it shields them, law, structure, and protects them, keeps them contained, right? It manages everybody. Instead of being correct, they're enabled. And over time, the protection doesn't reform them, it hardens them. They grow up inside the system and come out as criminals, not despite it, but because of it. It all starts at home. As a child, attention was inconsistent, sometimes intense, sometimes gone. Approval wasn't steady. It depended on mood, performance, timing. What the child learned early is simple but brutal. I had to do something to stay noticed, to stay relevant. Love and praise came with conditions. Be useful, be impressive, match other people's emotion. The result? Self-worth becomes external. Stability inside doesn't matter. Feedback from other does. Structured situations, stories, roles, games feel safer. Why? Because here, roles are clear. Feedback is predictable, meaning is defined. The chaos of home is replaced with something the mind can navigate. See, when they know what you're thinking, they feel safe. When they know what they're doing is bothering you, they feel powerful. When you're quiet, it really fucks with them because they need feedback. They need to be told, I'm in charge, or I feel good, or look what I'm doing. They need to be perceived. They love it. And due to this, they develop role confusion early. But also a strategy they learn, my value is in influencing the emotional environment. If I can't, I am nothing. Control becomes survival. Manipulation becomes instinct. This is where the seed of the handler and the perpetrator mentality is planted. And what we see is people who love emotional feeling of social leverage. The program requires service. The perpetrators desire false sense. The program desires social engineering. And because these people are good at manipulation, the program gives them role play. They both scratch each other's back. The perpetrators engage in immersive role play because they crave the validation and high praise they perceive from their unwitting targets, who are unaware they are being acted upon. This false sense of influence stimulates their brain, releasing pleasurable chemicals such as dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins, making the experience feel like a drug. The combination of uncertainty and anticipation, along with perceived influence, believing their actions matter, that they are shaping events or that they are one step ahead, further multiplies dopamine release. Even if the influence is imagined, these people are living in a dream. They are fucking each other in their minds. They are literally mind fucking each other, giving each other a false sense. This is what they're paying for. This is what they're working for, that drug. Individuals prone to this pattern often have underlying traits such as boredom, depression, bipolar, high anxiety, identity uncertainty, loneliness, or low status validation, which makes immersive scenarios act as dopamine prosthetics. It's like when you bored, you go and play the game to act upon that boredom. When these people get bored, they go on Gangstalk. It's a lifestyle, and these loops can escalate quickly because dopamine systems adapt rapidly, requiring increasing stimulation, which leads to the person to intensify the scenarios, add complexity, and seek stronger reactions. However, this cannot sustain itself. Eventually, dopamine responses become dull, anxiety returns, and behavior become erratic or fades. These people have problems with controlling their emotions, man. They get addictive and they become psychotic. It becomes psychotic. It's like the more sin doesn't become satisfied or content. It continues going, and it goes so much that these people get rid of their life. These people become drug addicts, alcoholics. You know, a lot of these programs, a lot of these patterns are short-lived. A person don't live to see 80 or 70 being in this program. A lot of these people really die young. They really have mental issues, and they have things going on with their body that they're not that they don't have knowledge of, right? Critically, high dopamine does not equal competence. It can reduce critical thinking, increase over interpretation of patterns, and inflate confidence without accuracy, which is why immersive roleplay can feel powerful while remaining ultimately inefficient, ineffective, and self-contained. So if you're a TI, you don't need a program as an emotional crutch. You can take care of your own mental well-being. You have control over your emotions. You don't need the program to provide you a sense of security and to be of service, to give you meaning and purpose. Ultimately, you have autonomy. You don't need someone or something to define who you are. You are being persecuted because you are stronger than most, more enduring than most. And without control, it will hurt a lot of people's feelings and get a lot of people killed to know that you made it by yourself when others had to sacrifice people they love or do demoralizing things just to get the bare minimum. And here you are excelling and receiving more. The ego can't handle it, and the program can't handle it because it makes the program look bad, because the program is selling dreams, it's telling lies. And to have you break it for them is bad business.